Hello everyone, and welcome to the VeryReasonablePilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me as always is my co-host, Gunner. I remembered this time. Pilot, co-pilot, editor, producer, and overall great guy, Jacob Cloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I'm alright. Doing okie dokie.
That's good.
Are you excited for episode 52, a year of a Very Reasonable Pilots podcast?
A year of great TV shows, hilarious jokes. We really ragged on the Amish sometimes.
That was you, that one time, and I think I cut most of it out.
I don't know.
No, actually, I didn't cut out most of it. I left a lot of it in.
We pitched a TV show about us torturing an Amish person.
No, it was like a reality show, right?
Yeah, about us convincing an Amish person.
But that wasn't the actual pitch.
No.
The actual pitch was something else.
No, this was just in the end credits. But, you know, I'm just saying, it's been a fun year. I've enjoyed myself. Have you enjoyed yourself, Jacob?
Yeah, there was good thumbnails.
There was good thumbnails.
There was a lot of thumbnails.
There were a few bad thumbnails.
Well, it's like 1 through 15 or so.
Yeah.
And then sprinkled in afterwards.
No comment.
Oh, do you think there's more than that?
No comment. I plead the
No
fifth.
comment. Wow, okay. Make your own goddamn thumbnails then.
No, I think they're all great. I love every single one of the thumbnails.
You're not going to insult my newest one. My newest one's great. Federal Bureau of Magical
It is
Investigations.
pretty great. Did you like my tweet?
Good. I did. I thought it was funny.
What was it again?
I don't remember.
I was scuba diving. oh yeah. I remember this time. I was scuba diving, and I fought a shark. And when I killed the shark, I cut it open, and this episode of the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast fell out.
Oh, shit. Damn.
And
what about this one? This also fell out of a shark?
This will probably, I don't know.
This one's going to be falling out of our heads because in celebration of 52, we are also pitching off the dome in a way, except it's a crossover pitch off the dome.
Ooh. Can you explain to the audience what that means, Jacob? What a crossover pitch off the dome?
Essentially, we're taking a few of our previous episodes of the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. Charlie's got some of the ones he pitched. I've got some of the ones I pitched. And we are connecting them with a loose thread.
Connection. And what is the thread's name, Jacob? Do you know his name?
Well, you think his name's Isaac Asimov for some reason.
I think his name
it's Isaac Illich.
It's Isaac Illich.
Yes, you've said Isaac Asimov on like the last 3 or 4
yeah, I have.
times you mentioned him, and
I have.
Don't know why. Who's Asimov?
He's a writer.
Isaac Asimov's a writer?
Yeah.
Oh,
he wrote a bunch of sci-fi novels. He wrote the 3 Laws of Robotics, which in is a big part of one of my pitches that I'm choosing to cross over, which is Falling Up. I'm choosing to cross over my episode 21, Falling Up, with episode 14, Fear and Loathing in 2084.
Oh.
So I think that there has to be some, connection to Isaac to both of these. But what are you...
Falling Up in 2084. You want to run with that first, or we want to go into mine as well?
I want to hear yours also, so we can work them together and connect them.
Oh my god. Okay, well, you have 2 space shows, and who would have thunk it? But I also picked 2 futuristic shows because,
I think that's good.
Don't we all just love the future?
I love the future.
It's probably the best tense,
Mm-hmm. But, okay, I want to tell you how I'm thinking about this, premiering on television. Okay?
Yes, so.
I think if this were ever to actually happen, it would be like a 4-part miniseries. Each episode is an hour long, and each episode is in a different setting with these different characters, which are all our shows that have also been, made in this reality where we're making this, So we get actors back. They don't think that, Dave Chappelle's gonna come back for this one, but he does.
Oh my god. Dave Chappelle's in like 2 or 3 of our shows.
Yeah, he is. He's great. Like, maybe we get Patton Oswalt to voice someone. He can voice...
I don't know who that is.
Patton Oswalt is a very famous comedian. Do you know the MODOK show that's coming out? Or that's come out?
Is he in that?
He's MODOK.
Yeah.
He's the MODOK guy. He's got that voice. That annoying but hilarious voice. He's a funny guy.
Cool.
Yeah. So which 2 futuristic space shows are you picking?
Well, the first one is I'm trying to find the name of it right now because I don't remember what it's called.
Look who's unprepared now.
Because I didn't write it down, unfortunately, because I'm idiotic. Dreams, obviously. I needed to pick Dreams. So it's not in space, but it's I feel like the technology of Dreams will be used. That's actually as far as I wanted it to go. I don't want it to be connected to our character, but I'd like to use the technology in Dreams, and maybe they can like cross over, like in the dream. And then the other one is The Rim, which I don't know if you remember.
I do remember The Rim. I remember all our shows. They're like my children.
Oh, okay. So let's do a brief explanation of each show just in case people don't remember.
Okay.
So The Rim was one where it was a colony of people that landed on a planet and have to live together and start up a new society. And Dreams was a show about technology that puts you in a dream, and you it
was Inception.
Are in the dream when there's like levels to the dream. It's basically Inception, essentially, but there's more to it than that.
It was Dreams, colon. It's basically an Inception show. Like they go in
better
gyms.
because there's more than 3 fucking levels. We can have like 15 levels or whatever.
Yeah, and the gimmick of the show, if we want to call it that, was that each episode the main character would switch to a different actor because they would change. They would go into a different dream level. So
because they weren't really sure who they were.
Yeah. And the episodes I picked, Falling Up follows a crew of a jump ship that can only move forward in time. Like, it can go in space and go planet to planet and stuff. It's good like that. But it has a time, mechanic where it can go forward, but it can't go backwards. And the 3 characters are Dr. Pav. He's a dog.
Oh, we're naming all the characters. Jeez.
Well, I'm naming all the characters just because this was a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't name the characters of The Rim.
You're right. I shouldn't name all the characters yet.
Just don't name them. We'll get into them as they become important.
Okay.
And you can
You're right.
give a brief description.
Okay. And we should talk about our thread, our beautiful baby boy, Isaac Illich.
Isaac Illich. Well, I feel like everyone knows who Isaac Illich was. He was the great, hilarious protagonist of that one show called The Adventures of Isaac Illich.
What episode number was The Adventures of Isaac Illich? To inform the audience.
He was 20.
20? Oh yeah, because
episode 20.
I remember because that Isaac Illich was another off the dome episode.
Yeah, he gets killed by... what is he? In the description of it, I say he saves Hitler, gets Franz Ferdinand killed, makes friends with Stalin, and causes the Great Depression.
Yeah.
So he's just like a bumbling person that goes through history, meeting historical figures.
And befriending ones that you probably wouldn't...
20th century.
You wouldn't think.
But he's like a sweet guy, I think we made him and Rasputin sort of friends.
Yeah.
I think he does all the bad stuff that Rasputin does, and by bad stuff I mean like he like slept with the Tsar's wife and slept with everyone's wife basically, and that was all Isaac Illich and not what's it called?
Rasputin.
Rasputin, but Rasputin gets blamed.
Yeah, but I think we could incorporate Isaac Illich, who is alive,
Yes, 20th century.
Yeah, 20th century. Let's say he dies canonically, if he, didn't go forward in time. He dies.
Yes, probably like in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
maybe.
if he was if he worked out every day after he turned 50, he probably died in the early 2000s.
Yeah, probably late 1900s. I don't think about it, but we could say. I think we should start with Falling Up because that has the time machine, right? So that's the only way that we could get him to these future periods.
Exactly, my dude. So I was thinking that we start with Isaac Illich, like bumbling through a war zone. It's some, old.
Okay, yeah. So setting the scene, harsh World War One trench warfare,
Yeah.
1917 style cinematography. Everything's crazy. One long take.
Well, I think it should start after the show ends,
First world.
which is
Okay.
after the Great Depression. So he's in World War II,
Yes.
and maybe he's a captain or something. He conned his way into a captainship, and he's just like this bumbling, guy who's like trying to avoid bombs, and he's trying to go for a drink. He's basically like the tramp Charlie Chaplin at this point.
Oh yeah, we could say because he's in Russia, right? So he's in, let's say he's in like Stalingrad.
Yeah.
Right, and the city's getting bombed and fired at, and he's just like, I'm going out for a drink, and it's like walking down the street as like artillery fire hits the ground. Maybe he's like dancing to non-diegetic music that's like playing, but it's just like in his head. But you hear it as the person in the show.
Yeah.
And he like walks into a bar or something.
Yeah.
That's like somehow still open.
Or he's like, and I think it would be fun to do like a really fun physical comedy thing where the bar is being moved because of all the bombs, and he's like just barely missing, like falling things from the ceiling, and his drink is sliding away from him and he's trying to reach it. I just think something cool like that. And he's like spilling his beer everywhere, and after all the shaking stop, he goes to take a drink from his beer and it's empty, and he's just like, and that's when like some shit goes down, like a big bomb happens, and like maybe the building is destroyed and he's trapped underneath of it.
Yeah.
And I think we have our characters from Falling Up who have access to a jump ship that can only move forward in time. The three characters being Dr. Pav, he's a dog with a human brain, and he was a scientist who was obsessed with like moving his brain into other bodies, and he tried it on a dog, and he can't figure out how to get out of the dog. And he's just like, fuck, well now I'm stuck in a dog, and nobody's gonna help him out of the dog, and he's too like narcissistic and like ego, he has too big an ego to ask for help, and our second character is Isaac, and that's gonna get confusing, but but it doesn't matter. And he's a robotic con man who is like, he has to follow the three basic laws of robotics as created by Isaac, what's his name? The other guy?
Illich.
No, not the
Isaac.
character.
Oh.
Isaac Asimov.
The other Isaac.
Isaac Asimov.
Oh, okay.
Created.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We got we could probably come up with an Isaac joke there.
Exactly.
Because we got three Isaacs now.
Isaac Asimov came up with the three laws of robotics.
Maybe,
Which,
just going into your failure as a person to remember the name of our character, maybe Isaac Asimov is Isaac Illich. It was just a pseudonym he used.
Oh.
When he... In the future, let's say, the future Isaac Illich, if he doesn't get put in a time machine, writes the three laws of robotics in like the 80s or whatever Isaac Asimov writes.
But Isaac Asimov was a real person that everyone knew. I feel like that'd be weird. And our character...
What do you mean?
For Isaac Illich, the drunken fool, to write the three laws of robotics?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be weird.
Maybe they knew each other.
Maybe. Oh, I think it would be cool if they met in like the 80s.
Because they could have met each other, because looking at it now, your guy, Isaac Asimov, was born in 1920 and died in 1992. So definitely could have met Isaac Illich.
Yeah.
In our time.
Definitely, for sure. And so...
And we could have a scene maybe cutting back to a bar where they're chatting and Isaac Illich like gives him the idea for the three laws, and Asimov's like, huh,
yeah,
interesting.
He'd be like, yeah, I think it would be a lot easier in the world if, I don't know why I'm giving him this accent, but I'm not gonna stop, if everything was just like, there are three basic laws you can't break, and that would make everything okay. And he's like, yeah, I think that would be cool. And, he plants the seed in his head.
Like Inception. Oh my god, it all ties together.
Do you want me to read the three laws of robotics, which our character, Isaac the robotic con man, cannot break?
Sure, very quickly.
Okay. Number 1, a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Number 2, a robot must obey orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And Law 3, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Those are 3 laws of robotics. Isaac Asimov's three laws of robotics. Yeah, from iRobot, that movie with Will Smith.
Yeah, we could say like maybe he's in the bar with Asimov and he's like I don't know. When I was in the war, okay, I lived by 3 rules. Okay, didn't kill anyone
that didn't deserve
2, didn't kill anyone that didn't deserve it. 2, I followed orders. Okay, didn't matter who gave them, I followed. And 3, I tried to keep myself alive. And that one was the most important law. The other 2 don't matter. The third law is the most important law.
Third law. And then he takes a drink, like a swig of his flask, and he falls over. It's like the third law.
All right, so but how do we get these people into the past with Illich?
Well, I think we can explain that away by I have to finish explaining the characters. There's Isaac, the robot, and lastly, Grima, the enormous warrior princess with like an envoy of 3 small robots. Small robots. And she's like the badass of the crew. And so, on a technicality, Isaac doesn't have to do anything that these people say. Because neither of them are humans. And so he doesn't have to, even though they're just as intelligent as humans and so on and so forth. So I think that we explain that, like, oh yeah, well, none of us are... I haven't been back to Earth in a very long time, and time distortion has really, like, thrown us for a loop. So let's just say that right now, and he has a clock it's Earth time, and then my time. And then, the Earth clock is like, it's 1939. Okay, let's go back. Let's, go back to Earth. Yeah. We can explain it away via time distortion and, being away from Earth and all that stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. Or we could say, they accidentally went back in time with the time machine, but they don't really understand how. And we're like, I don't...
Yeah. Or they fell through a wormhole or some shit.
Yes, okay, so some sort of scientific explanation. Boom, they are in Stalingrad. It's 1944 or something, or 3. I don't remember when Stalingrad was.
Yeah. And Isaac sees that bar collapse on top of Isaac Illich. And he's like, I cannot allow harm to come to a human being. And so he, runs in there after he's been hurt and grabs him and pulls him from the rubble. And he sees, he's badly injured. And he drags him on the ship. And they're like, I'm just gonna fix him up, and then we're gonna leave. I'm gonna throw him at the ship, and then we'll get out of here. That's fine. Alright? And they're like, okay. And while they're fixing them up, they get, the Stalingrad people. I'm sorry.
Russians and
the Russians
Germans?
And the Nazis see them, and they're like, that has to be some, American
Russian
thing.
And or German thing, depending on whose perspective, so they shoot it.
Yeah, so they start, shooting and, moving the cannons to go aim for it, mortars and stuff. Machine guns, and they're like, we can't take this much punishment, we have to fucking get out of here. And they flip the switch with Isaac Illich still inside.
Oh. And
they go to, and they, hit it just throw the switch, throw the throttle to go forward in time. And then when they're we're out of danger now, they pull it back, and they found themselves in 2084.
Okay, going back for a second, I think it'd be cool if maybe Isaac gets out of the ship without, was it the Dr. Paz?
Dr. Pav.
Pav is repairing the ship, getting ready to go again. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, we got to figure this out. And he's like, all right, we're ready to go now. And he's like, shut the door, Isaac, we need to go. And he's like, okay. And he shuts the door, but Isaac is inside now because he went and go saved him without telling anyone.
Yeah.
because he the directive was in his mind. And the other two were just focusing on cleaning fixing the ship, so that when they come out of time travel-y goopy stuff, they're like, who's this guy?
I think
what is he doing?
I would think it would be funny if Isaac hasn't interacted with a human being for so long that he doesn't really know how they work, and he's just like, I'll know what would make you better, and he puts him in a broom closet and puts buckets on his feet, and he was like, there, that will make you heal, and he's just gushing blood.
You're gushing blood into the buckets.
And they, he leaves him in the, and maybe he puts a blanket over him while he's in the broom closet bleeding into a bucket. And he's like, all right, buddy, I'll let you rest up and get better. I'm gonna go help out my friends. And he leaves and closes the door to the broom closet. And, hours pass, 6 hours pass, and Grima is like, oh, come on, Pav. You threw up again? Because he's a dog.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, sorry, I was eating some grass earlier. It was really good at the time, but now I just don't like the way my stomach And he's like, and she goes and gets the broom and finds this guy. And he's like, holy shit, there's a guy in here. There's a dead man in here.
And he's bleeding in these buckets.
He's lost so much blood, but it's in these buckets. He saved all the blood.
And you could cut away and you come back and he wakes up and he's like, what happened? Where am I? You're like, well, you're really lucky the buckets were there because we just put them back. We just put the blood back in.
Yeah.
Because none of us are your blood type. That would have been a problem. So we patched you up all right.
Mm-hmm. We took a funnel, put it in your mouth. We poured the blood down there.
Yeah, it seemed to work. I'm surprised it worked. Dr. Paz, or what is his name? Pav.
Like Pavlov. Like
Pav,
Dr.
Gotcha.
Like
P-A-V.
Dr. Pavlov.
I'm sorry, I made the mistake twice. But he's like, yeah, I'm a medical professional, and I have no idea how that worked.
It's been decades since I've had hands. I'm a dog. It's okay. I'm accepted it, but I'm a dog, man. But yeah.
So they're in 2084 now.
They're in 2084, and they're
in Earth. So they're in Russia in 2084 because that's where they left, right? So they're in future Stalingrad.
Yeah.
Which is it's not called Stalingrad. I don't know what it's called though. Something else.
Leningrad.
No.
Giuseppe Grad. Why would a Russian city be named Giuseppe Grad?
Volgograd. That's what it's called.
Why name it something that sad?
I don't know.
Volgograd. Okay, great.
Maybe it's called New Babylonia.
Maybe it's 2084. Let's just say that Russia is built because America is a wasteland. Can I tell you the research I did for these episodes?
Oh my god!
I've got the notes for Falling Up right here, and I went and listened back to episode 14, Fear and Loathing, in 2084.
Wow, you really prepped.
It was.
I didn't.
I could tell. I
haven't even talked about mine yet.
I don't even care. It's cool. But yeah, I like that show. Jimmy King, songwriter extraordinaire, and H&M, robot man without genitals, or he's just like a regular man without genitals. But let's say that in 2084, the world is a wasteland, as stated in the pilot, and Russia is building one final huge rocket ship to launch as many thousands of people out of off Earth into orbit as they can. And so maybe they flip the switch and something goes wrong with the time fizzy in the ship because Nazis were shooting it, and they get to 2084 and they're a few miles outside of the city. They're like, what happened? Why aren't we in the city? And they're like, oh, it was something happened with the time skizzy, and it affected our location. And they're like, okay, whatever. Can we leave now? And they're like, no. I'm gonna need at least half a day to fix this thing. Because it is a nightmare. And I am a dog, and I don't have hands, and I have to get your stupid robots to do it, Grima. Your robots don't have hands either. Why don't either of you help me? And then, he leaves.
And he leaves. Okay. And so what? They go to Stalingrad
I think
or New Babylon.
They wake up Isaac Illich, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, what's up? You're in the future now, and I'm an alien woman, and that's a robot man. Are you okay with this?" And I feel like Isaac Illich, being the guy he is, would be like, "Yeah, I'm totally cool with it. You're from space. You're a robot, and that's a dog man. All right, I'm cool. You guys want to get a drink?" And they're like, "Yeah."
And then they're like, "Wait, you're not traumatized by this?" And he's like, "I fought in the Great War. I think I can handle most things.
It's fine. I've done a lot of crazy shit in my life. It's whatever. You guys want to get a drink or not?" I'm like, yeah, sure.
Do they have drinks in the future? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, "Are they better or worse than the past?" I'm like, "Oh, way better. I'm pretty sure, at least. I haven't had a past drink before."
Yeah.
He's like, "Sweet."
Nice. All right, let's do it. And they, walk out of the ship. I think it's like, when you have a group of friends and you're all getting ready to go out on the town.
Yeah.
And you just feel like a badass.
No.
But you feel like an absolute dork at the same time.
Maybe. Yes.
That second one. It's, there's that when you go out on the town, you feel cool. At least for the second you step out the door. And I think we should do that, like, have some cool music playing and
cool scene as they all walk out.
Yes. Slow motion.
We got the fucking, I guess the dog staying behind, but you got the robot and the princess lady.
Yeah.
And then you got Isaac Illich
in the front,
still wearing his military uniform.
No, I think he should get like a future makeover.
Maybe but he'll go out and get one though.
But wait, he's not
gonna have it.
They're walking out and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be badass. We're gonna hit up the future clubs. It's gonna be great." And they walk out, step out into this deserted wasteland that's just, there's like a shack 20 feet away from them. That's just like there, and they can see like miles and miles in the distance. There's like this walled off city. And they're like, "God damn it." And they're like, do you have any sort of future technology that can get us there faster, like a car? And they're like, "No, we got legs. That's the only future technology we got that's gonna help us out here." It's like, oh, fine. And they've all like put effort into their outfits at the beginning, and by the time they get to the city, they like are all sweated through, and it's obvious joke. And then they knock on the door. They're like, "What do you want? Can we come in?" "No." "Why not?" Because that's a robot. We don't like him here." "What if he goes away?" "No, because you're a giant woman." "I'm a Russian citizen, sir." This is Isaac Illich speaking. "And I am a goddamn war hero. Now open the fucking door." And he, is like, he sees him in his military garb. And he's like, "Oh, so sorry, sir." "Yes, sir." And he opens the door, and it's just like a squeamish, front desk manager, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Sorry, sir, for the disrespect." And they're like, "Can you tell me where the closest watering hole Can you tell me where the closest watering hole is, sir?" Yes, sir. It's right there. Thank you, sir. Have a good day, Private." They're like, "Yes, sir." "Okay." And then he's like, wait. "Back to your duty, Private." "Yes, sir." And he like starts to look away. Isaac corrects him. They go to this bar, and they're like having a few drinks, but this is 2084. There's all sorts of weird characters going around, you know? All sorts of crazy guys. Maybe this should actually be set in 2086.
Okay.
You know?
What's that?
Because I think that they sit down at the bar, and sitting next to them are two characters, Jimmy
from that show, yeah.
Jimmy King and H&M, but they look a little bit different. Not that different, but a little bit different.
They're cowboys now.
Maybe.
They wear big cowboy hats.
Maybe one of them, you know what? Let's say H&M got a hat. Let's say...
And Jimmy King's like shitting on him at the Dex table, telling him how stupid the hat looks.
I think Jimmy King's got a different color sunglasses. And,
okay.
You know, different outfit on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And maybe his hair's a bit longer or shorter. Depends. And H&M has like... Because I always imagined H&M, who if you haven't listened to episode 14, Fear and Loathing in 2084, you should. H&M is this guy who is genetically engineered to do work off planet, and he started his life as like at 20 years old, basically, at like that physique, fully grown, no puberty or anything. And then after, 20 years of working in the corporate mines of Walmart, he was freed by a class action lawsuit filed against Walmart in the, Supreme Court or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's very unwise to the ways of the world, but he's a very hard worker, and he's obsessed with, experiencing human culture, like real American culture and stuff like that. But he's this big, kind of pudgy, pale, and he doesn't tan no matter what. I think that has to be part of it. Like, he doesn't burn, he doesn't tan, he's just kind of like, if
I didn't realize, Charlie, was this pitch for 2084
no, but I'm trying to describe him now in the
we know, Charles, they can go listen to the last episode
in the present he's like this big marshmallowy guy with a cowboy hat on, and maybe he's got like an eye patch now in 2086. So our three characters, Isaac, Grima, and Isaac, sit down at the bar.
This whole second Isaac thing's a problem.
Exactly. But you don't know who's who. Like, we have to kill Isaac. And they're both like, what? I'm like, we're talking about a third guy. Don't worry.
different Isaac.
Different Isaac.
Alright, so they're in the bar.
They're in the bar, they're talking, and Isaac strikes up a conversation with H&M because he thinks he looks weird and cool. And he's like, hey buddy, what's going on? I am from World War II. I was fighting in World War II. These guys saved my life, took me to the future.
Possibly abducted me. Not really sure. Still thinking it over.
It might be an alien abduction. I'm not sure how they count as aliens, because she's definitely an alien. Him, no, I don't think so. And there is a dog guy. But whatever. What's going on with you, buddy? And he's just like, I'm trying out this eye patch. I think it looks pretty cool.
He's like, are you missing an eye?
Do you like it?
No.
No. Which side do you like it on? This side or this side? And then Jimmy King is like, I told you that thing was fucking stupid. Hey, Jimmy King, nice to meet you. And we're like, so I hear you're from World War II? You time travel? That's far out, man. I haven't met a time traveler since that time I was in Bogota. Jesus Christ. Bogota. And then, his eyes like kind of fade out, and he gets that 1,000-mile stare as some incongruous music plays in the background. Do you know what I mean?
And then, what's his name? Ivan Illich is like, hey, you good, man? As we're still staring at his eyes, like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Bogota, it's great. What was I talking about? The space. Yeah, we're going to space, man. You're going to space. Like, yeah, this place is a fucking rock, dude. There's no one living here anymore that can afford to get out. I'm getting the fuck out while I can. These Russians, these Russians, man, they've been building this big rocket for like, how long's it been? It's been about 8 years. 8 years, right? We've been building a rocket for nigh on a decade, my dude. And they're gonna launch everybody who shows up, you know? If you're in the line, you're getting shot into space, and I intend to be in the fucking line because I was in America when the last tree burned down. I saw the last ice cap melt, and I don't want to stick around to see what else happens. Alright, man? You know what I mean? And Isaac's like, yeah, that's a good fucking point. All the ice caps melt? There's no more trees? And he's
How
like,
the fuck did that happen?
He's really like, fucking, you guys have a space, can we go? They're like, dude, we've got 3, it's a trio, 3 musketeers.
Yeah, it gets a little crowded, especially with the jokes, too. Not everyone can be a funny guy. It gets,
Yeah, I saved Isaac the robot. I tried to save you. I did save you because that's my prerogative as a person. My robot brain makes me do that. But no, I don't like the idea of you hanging around being able to tell me what to do. Fuck off with that shit, man. Alright? And he's like, fair enough, bro. Okay, well, can I go with you guys? Can we get a seat? And I think it would be funny if they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it's an airport scene.
Oh, and then you have Space TSA?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you want. Do you want to do Space TSA also? No.
Just like a cameo, Space TSA.
Yeah.
Like they're just in the airport.
Yeah. Just in the airport. Maybe, none of the main characters are in there, but a side character is in there. Or someone.
Because maybe there's like a space elevator. They have those in sci-fi.
Yeah.
And that gets you, they go up the space elevator to the spaceport up in space, as it is. And there they go to the airport, which is Space TSA's airport. And maybe in Space TSA, do you have more plans for this?
I was just thinking that it would be funny if it was like these 2 kind of stupid Americans, quote unquote Americans, in a Russian airport.
Yeah. With
a Russian who is from many decades from the past. And neither of them have any fucking idea what to do. But, this is actually a ploy. I think my episode ends on the cliffhanger of as they, are breaching through the atmosphere, they realize that an 8-year spaceship that was just supposed to take everybody that came is probably a bad idea. And it's, starting to break as it gets into orbit.
Oh, jeez.
And they're like, oh shit, this is not gonna work. This is just an elaborate plan for the Russian government to kill off a lot of people. Or whatever. Or kill off a specific group of people.
Okay, I have an idea.
Uh-huh.
So is that where your ideas ended?
That's where my episode ends.
Okay. All right, so they're in orbit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's crashing up, burning up. We're got the perspective of Isaac Illich. Mm-hmm. He's like, fuck, I'm gonna die, as you are. And then he dies, but he wakes up. And he's like, he's back in World War II. And he's like, oh, everything's fine. I was just in bed. He goes outside. He's hanging out, He's with his wife. World War II hasn't happened. It's just that period of time. And he's like, oh, everything's nice and happy. And then all of a sudden the dog shows up, Pav. Mm-hmm. And he's barking at him. He's like, wait, oh, that's where the dog came from the thing. And he's like, no, I'm Pav. I'm the dude. Hey, are you almost done yet? We're gonna go soon. He's like, wait, what? What do you mean we're gonna go soon? I'm home. That was all just a bad dream. He's like, no, we went to. Remember, you were at the bar, and we wanted to show you the dream console from that tech that dude made, and we put you in. Remember? He's like, what? Okay. And they pull him out of the dream thing, and it was all just like a video game arcade experience at the bar. So they didn't actually go up in a rocket ship or anything. They were just like, that's how we sort of connect dreams to it. It's all just the dream sequence.
I like that. I think it would be funny if he's like, he wakes up from the dream and Isaac, Grima, and Dr. Pav are there, and they're like, and he's like, what? It was all a dream? And they're like, yeah, it was all a dream. We put you in a dream console. That was, we wanted to program a dream where you went to space. We programmed a dream where you went to space. We thought it'd be funny.
Why couldn't you pick one where I actually went to space and didn't die? He's like, the names on it are not really descriptive, we'll be honest. It just said, rocket ship goes to space, ?
Yeah.
And I thought the question mark was a typo. It wasn't a typo. It was pretty traumatic, it seemed like.
Yeah, well, it didn't look fun. So
you tripped the emergency failsafe, which put you in like your happy place. I didn't see that coming.
You have a hot wife, by the way.
Yeah.
Rough.
It's a nice house as well. You live in the country.
Yeah. Two beautiful children. How do you know I had children? I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm just making shit up, bro. And so that marshmallow H&M guy, that Jimmy King, they didn't exist? No, they exist. As soon as we said we were going to the dream console, they were like, all right, see ya. And we both walked out of the bar together. And as we walked, away from each other, I heard Jimmy King whisper, man, those guys are dicks. and that was it. I didn't like those people very much. They smelled weird.
Yeah, especially the H&M guy.
Yeah, he smelled like meat. He smelled like ham. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit.
Strange.
What should Jimmy King whisper that Grima can hear? Grima's got super hearing because she's a super princess. You're what a dickhead. What a dickhead.
What a dickhead.
What a dickhead, that guy.
Is he British? Why are you sounding like that?
What a dickhead.
What a dickhead.
What a dickhead. What should he say? Come on, give us a thing.
Bunch of squares.
Bunch of squares, man. Bunch of squares. Yeah.
Seems like a Jimmy King thing to say.
It does, because those are obviously the most interesting people you've met today. Because one's an alien, one's a robot, one's from the past, but...
And then he calls them a bunch of squares.
Yeah, he's like, what a pedestrian bore.
Yeah, and maybe after that, so they've experienced some of the dream stuff, and then Pav comes back in, he's like, all right, so ship gonna be kind of hard to fix, I'm missing some parts, so I booked you all on a luxury cruise because these people just gave me tickets, right? And I know this is gonna take me a while. I thought it'd be nice, and they gave me these tickets. They said they were free, and so there's one for each of you, and then I have one extra one. It's kind of weird, actually. It says special exit ticket. I guess you could take this one, Isaac. I'm not really sure what that one's. Maybe you get a special treatment, and you're kind of traumatized by this whole experience. So I guess we'll give you the special ticket. Mm-hmm. And what were you saying? I
think that we should do a bit more in dreams, where they're like. I think that episode should be like him constantly waking up and being like, "What the fuck? Who are you?"
That's where I was going.
Oh, Sorry.
He was so essentially they're gonna get on the cruise, and he has the special ticket, and the cruise turns out to be a sort of falls into like a murder mystery, and over the succession of the crew, the warrior princess gets murdered. She's the first person to die. Robot gets murdered. All the people that he meets along the way are murdered until it's just him and this crazy, disgusting monster thing.
Maybe it's like a guy he's been living on the boat for years.
Oh wait, it could be someone from his past. It's Rasputin's monster. And he's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And it's this big reveal happens where it's Rasputin has been around for forever because he saw that that Isaac got away, and he's been connected to this computer thing to keep him alive, and he's been out for his revenge. And as soon as he saw that he came back alive, he's been hunting them down. That's why he gave like the tickets to them.
Yeah.
And then he gets eaten, and then he wakes up, and it's a dream again. And then we'll do one more, but I didn't plan out the one more.
Yeah. Well, we didn't plan out any of this, so it's good.
I wrote down the cruise thing for dreams.
I like that. I think the next one is like, he's like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Okay? Fuck. This is fucking scary. I'm gone. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go farm beets. Can we still
this
farm
is after
beets?
he gets out of the dream console for the second time.
Yeah.
It's like, that was... Okay. I thought we just got out of this. Did we get back in? No. See, it was 2 levels, you see. So there was 2.
Yeah.
You were in the first one, then in the second one, okay? It's like, how many levels can you be in? This is insane. He's like, well, probably a lot. I was like, well, am I still in a dream? Am I in a dream now? And he holds a gun to his head, and they're like, no, this one isn't a dream. He pulls the trigger, wakes up again. He's like, okay, that was a dream. That second,
okay,
again,
okay, you got us. That was a dream, but still, don't do that again. That was bad. Don't do it. Am I still in a dream? Yes.
Oh my god, I'm still in a dream. All right, he shoots himself in the head again. He's like, okay, I'm out now, right? He's like, they're like, yes, this one, you're out. It's over. No more. And maybe we could have one more dream adventure.
Yeah. And then he's like...
What are you saying?
Maybe he's like, no more dreams, okay? All of this, from now on, nothing but reality. And then, like, he's like, okay, he gets out of the dream console, he gets dressed, he, like, walks out the hospital door, and he, like, Chronicle of Narnia just walks into, like, a medieval fantasy land. And then he's like, what? And he turns around and the hospital is gone.
It's gone.
And he's like, what the fuck?
And he pulls out his gun to shoot himself in the head, but it's now like, it's now just like a book or something. Like
he's out of bullets, and he's like, shit. And he throws it on the ground, and it turns into a sword. And he's like, all right, I guess I'll be a knight or whatever. And
we have a short night storyline with him, where he like, and maybe it's very quick, so it's sort of like a montage where he,
maybe he's like saving damsels in distress,
and he gets married and has kids, and he's living, like in a castle.
Oh yeah, I like this.
And one day he's like an old man now. Mm-hmm. And we have this huge montage of him and his kids. Like you see like his love for his wife and his daughter, and like he helped rule the kingdom very well. And one day he sits down in the toilet, and he's taking a poop, and he falls over and hits his head on the bathtub, and he dies. Yeah. And he wakes up in the dream console, and it just like springs off, and it says like, you died, like the Rick and Morty. What's it called? Life of Ron, or Ron Simulator. Roy, that's what it was. Roy, like that.
Populous Michael.
They're like, damn. That you did pretty well in that nightlife.
Yeah, you kicked a lot of ass. You got a lot of STDs though, bro.
Yeah,
I know that condoms didn't exist back then or in future. I don't know when this was set, but I'm just saying.
He falls down. He's like, my wife, my kids, where are they? No, that was fake. I'll go away in a second. Don't worry about it. Yeah. You'll forget it all.
Dude, you gave a lot of girls the clap. I don't know how I feel about that, but still, it's fine. Whatever. It's just a game. It's like, I'm never gonna see my kids again. They weren't your kids. They were robots. Like, you're a robot.
Like, they're like, yeah. I mean, like, you won't see those kids, and you also won't see your real kids again, probably, because we don't know how to go back in time.
If it makes you feel any better, they're probably dead. So, you know.
Yeah, as of now, your kids and your wife are dead.
Oh yeah,
they're really dead.
And your computer kids and your wife, they're basically dead. We unplugged the machine. We found out these guys kept taking you in and out of dreams, and we thought it was weird, so we unplugged the machine.
He wanders away from them, upset, and they're like trying to chase after him, and they're like, "No, wait, did you have an idea?"
I was thinking that we got him to the rim through the giant.
I know that's Wait, through what?
The giant rocket ship that Russia has. That part wasn't a dream.
Wait, I'm confused now.
What do you mean? The giant rocket ship that they're launching and that
Yes, but then they're like, oh, well, there actually is a rocket ship coming. But like, my idea was that he like wanders out of that bar, and he comes upon a this this girl hanging out in a bar selling drugs, and that is the character from Rim, the drug dealer.
What's her name?
I have it written down in my notebook.
I remember I liked her.
It starts with a V. It's probably like Val or something because I use that name all the time.
Yeah, probably. Val.
We'll just say it was Val because I don't remember her name. Essentially, and she's like, "Hey, you want to try this drug?" And he's like, "Sure, anything to get me out of this moment." And he takes it, and we go on through this drug trip journey of like colors and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he's strapped on like a transport ship being brought to the Rim, and she's next to him, and she's like, "Yeah, we got busted mid-trip. The drug I gave you was super illegal. Not allowed to have that. So
it's made
they're
out of
sending us out to go build a colony or something. You know, Australia. It's kind of the same. The old historical Australia thing. Kind of the same thing.
You mean how Australia is in my time? Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah, Australia. It's full of criminals.
Yeah.
Criminals and fire. Whatever. And I think it'd be funny if he's like in the luggage. You know, he's strapped in with the luggage.
Yeah. And because like he's not actually supposed to be on the ship when they drop, for the first time, and that show opens with them getting dropped. Yeah. So my idea is that he gets dropped early. Mm-hmm. So they're all flying, and then all of a sudden, just like boom, he gets dropped out first, and the captain's like, that wasn't supposed to happen. And so he falls down. He lands on the Rim all alone. Yeah. And it's just sort of wandering through this planet, meeting like the different tribes and such, trying to find his original crew that he was with.
He's a lone wandering badass now. We'll probably give him a sword. Mm-hmm. I think it would be funny if it was like, we're losing altitude. The plane's too heavy. We have to drop all the luggage. And they're like, do it. No. No parachute. He just lands on top of a tree and gets hit in the nuts because we're not above that.
Yeah, and then he slowly becomes like this wanderer badass going through the or it looks it isn't actually, but looks it going through like the wasteland.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be funny if it was like Val was like that drug I gave you was super like elite, like really bad, like you can't even get it on the outer worlds because it's made out of kittens. All right. All right, we can only make the drugs out of kittens. That drug specifically.
The one you ate, actually. That was the one you consumed. That was
Mittens.
At least 8 kittens.
So it was Mittens and his brothers.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good for you. But I'm sure you won't have that on your conscience for the rest of your life.
No.
Have fun with the luggage. And she like gets up and like smokes a cigarette and goes for a walk, and he's upside down. She's like, wait. Come back, let me down. I was like, that would be unsafe. His sign says right here, don't touch the luggage while in transit. You know, the plane's moving, you don't touch the luggage, that's the point. She just goes, he's like, can I at least have some more drugs? Yeah. She just closes the door. The light turns off, and he's just like, shit. And, they let all the luggage go. He falls out. He, like, gets his warrior badass outfit from all of the luggage. Like, the different packages and, like, suitcases that are there. I'm like, alright, badass. He finds, like, a sword. And he makes one of those cool, like, the hats the Chinese hats that go out all over your head, and they help with the sun. The white, like the really wide brimmed. Yeah, like he's got that, and like he makes a fucking poncho out of moss or something. I don't know. He becomes a badass wandering the wastes of this Rim world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then in the wasteland, he comes across a tired and defeated-looking man holding a bunch of money and a shotgun. Who comes up to him and is like, hey, for reasons I can't really mention right now, I need you to switch clothes with me. Because we'll say, people chasing me, but they won't chase you if we switch clothes because they'll see your face and they won't get you. He's like, okay.
I'm good with that. And he's like, what's your name? And he's like, Isaac. And he's like, what's yours? He's like, Mank. And so they switch clothes, and he goes off. Mank goes off in one direction with the money and the shotgun he gave Isaac some.
Yeah.
And Isaac's like, I got some money now. This is pretty nice. All I do is switch clothes with that guy. And then the helicopter lands next to him. He's like, you're under arrest, Mank. We're taking you in. And they arrest him and take him to Charlie, your show, the what
Space
is it?
Prison?
Friends Space Prison.
That's a good. I like that crossover. I was gonna say we could possibly do one of the characters from the Eulogy of Man.
No,
The show we did, Eulogy of Man.
Allegory.
The allegory of the cave.
Yeah. If you remember the name of these shows.
If we did Jack, who was the main character of that show.
Yeah.
Who's just now he's been an immortal for like centuries now or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
So maybe he goes to the prison, right?
Yeah.
And at first he gets put in the prison with the aliens and people, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh shit, no, sorry, we didn't mean to put you in this cell. So maybe he spends like half an episode in there, and they bring him to his next cell, and he's like, meet your cellmate, and that's his cellmate's Jack.
Yeah. And he's like, what you in for? He's like, I don't really know. If I'm being 100% honest with you,
Didn't do anything.
I should be in Stalingrad right now. And Jack's like, me too, brother. Me too. And he takes like a flask out of his boot or something. And he takes a drink.
And he's like, wait a second. Jack? He's like, wait, Isaac? Holy shit, why are you here? Because they both lived at the same time, remember?
They've crossed over before.
Yeah. So he's like, hold up, wait. And then maybe they start like their, I don't know, they break out together or something. Yeah. A nice prison.
I think it should end with them, like, cheersing, you know? Like, Isaac has a hidden flask and Jack has a hidden flask, and they both take
with
out
them in their cell, and they just cheers.
And there's, like, a little, like, window up just above where they're cheersing, and it's got, like, you know, a bird flying away, and maybe some grass or something. Something nice. And it's them cheersing. And it's like, yeah, they're both gonna get out because they're badasses. And Isaac's gonna be like, how'd you get here? Time travel. Jack's gonna be like, how'd you get here? To Isaac, and like, time travel. You? Oh, immortality. Cool.
That's cool.
Cool. Took the long way, man. Yeah. Man, I was luggage 20 minutes ago. Don't even worry. I was luggage like 2 hours ago, and now I'm hanging out with my good friend Jack, immortal badass. Let's get the hell out of here, man. Cheers to that, brother. And they cheers.
Cheers. Roll credits.
Roll credits. While we play a fun song. What song should we play? Raindrops keep falling on my head.
That works, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
That's good.
Alright. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this extraordinarily long episode of the VeryReasonablePilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Lung. With me as always has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloff. Thank you, Jacob, for participating in this episode with me. And thank you, listener, for listening to this episode of the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. You can find us on Twitter at VRP Podcast, or is it? Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter at Charles_Longs, and you can't find Jake anywhere. He's a ghost.
I don't exist.
Absolute ghost. Alright, well, thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you. Goodbye. 3, 2, 1.